Bonnie Blue, following the news of her recent pregnancy, wants to turn her baby shower into a golden shower. And no, that's not just me telling a crass joke, that is literally what she said word for word.
I have a baby shower on Saturday, and I'm inviting the public to turn my baby shower into a golden shower.
And the reason for this... I mean, do we really need one? It's Bonnie Blue, none of us should be surprised. The only thing that I want showered right now is your love and affection for that subscribe button. So get on that, just gently kiss that subscribe button, preferably with your finger, I guess, because I'm not sure your lips will be the best vessel for, you know, a touchscreen or a desktop. My subscribe button is poly, by the way, so there's no need to feel bad if you're sub to others as well, just to be clear. Anyway, Bonnie Blue recently did a very popular interview with LBC, which stands for Leading Britain's Conversation. They are a very popular radio show here in Britain. The Americans definitely will not have heard of this show. However, they probably have seen the very viral clip of Bonnie Blue saying that they want to turn their baby shower into a golden shower, which is, of course, some fine rage bait. Probably her best work yet. And as always, I do feel a bit bad making commentary videos on what is very obviously rage bait. So, as is become standard with these Bonnie Blue videos, I will be donating $1,000 to Women's Aid. That way something good comes out of this video, even if it is feeding into the game that Bonnie Blue is trying to play. I'll leave them in the description as well. They're a charity primarily for helping women and children leave abusive households, as well as therapy and consolation for those same people who have been abused in the past. But whatever, right? Blah, blah, blah. Charity this, charity that. Who cares? Let's focus on what's important. Bonnie Blue's golden baby shower. I'm sure the interview doesn't start with that, but anyway, I want to have a look at the full interview. We're not going to have a look at that one clip. Interesting, they have a phone number here that you can call for the LBC. This is very common for their shows. I wonder if people call in. That'd be interesting.
Thank you for joining us, and congratulations on the pregnancy and the baby.
I know, thank you.
Can I ask how far down you are?
Far enough to know the baby's healthy, and I'm doing fine.
Good. Do you know the sex of the baby or not?
I do.
You're not sharing it?
Not yet.
No, okay.
Just to be clear, this is probably the most important thing I'll say this video. I am very happy to hear that Bonnie Blue's baby is safe and healthy, and I genuinely wish her the best in terms of, you know, the childbirth and everything that comes alongside that. I understand that in the past, Bonnie Blue has spoken about fertility issues despite wanting to conceive, so the fact that she is able to do it now, I think is a genuine... I think it's really great. I'm very happy for her. I also, in my last video on Bonnie Blue, was a little skeptical on the validity of this claim that they are actually pregnant, but now I have pretty much no doubts. Not because you can tell by looking at her or anything. I don't think she's like far enough into the pregnancy for that. However, I just think on a moral level, for her to fake a pregnancy for this long, if she isn't actually pregnant, that means that she's gonna have to eventually fake an abortion or a miscarriage. And to be honest with you, I just don't think that even she is so morally bankrupt to do something like that. Whereas when it was like closer to the time, I suppose a week after saying that you're pregnant, she can go, oh, I fooled the world, I'm not actually pregnant. Which I guess she can do now, but I don't know. It's been so long that I don't believe it. I genuinely don't believe that Bonnie Blue, as fucked up and twisted as she is, has it in her to tell the world that she's pregnant, wait multiple months, and then tell the world, nah, big prank, not actually pregnant. Especially as someone who has had fertility issues in the past, she would know how hurtful and offensive that is to people in her audience or people who are genuine fans of her that are also struggling with fertility issues. It'd be a huge slap in the face, and I honestly don't even think that I just don't think it's in her. She's more pretending to be a child predator type of twisted, not faking miscarriages type of twisted.
This would be too wholesome. I need to share it in a really disgusting manner.
Okay. Can I ask whether pregnancy, though, has changed your attitude to the work that you do?
No. I mean, it's been hard. Like, I've not found pregnancy easy. Like, morning sickness is well and truly throughout the whole day, and it's not just been in my first trimester. Right. But in terms of me wanting to continue filming, that hasn't stopped or it hasn't slowed me down.
Surely it must change the kind of things you do that rules out certain stunts, perhaps?
Made me want to be more careful in certain elements, but it has not stopped what I'm doing or me wanting to invite the public.
Well, what has she been doing the past few months, though? Yeah, I think the last time we heard of her was when she revealed the pregnancy. I'm sure she's still been uploading on that private TikTok of her. Well, private TikTok. The TikTok of hers that is a lot more personable. Well, supposedly a lot more personable. No, look, you can see by the dates here. So we get this LBC interview a day ago, but then look at the dates, right? The last video before that was on the 18th of May. So like 2 weeks ago. And then 4 days before that was the one before that. And then like a whole another like 2-3 weeks as well. What is this video?
I think you know what it's about.
Okay, just more fake bullshit with a bunch of masked men. People are saying, what about the baby? As though, I mean, you're allowed to have sex when you're pregnant. It does not harm the baby at all. As far as I'm aware, that's like a huge misconception. I gotta double check before I get called out for being a fucking idiot. Yeah, as long as you listen to your body and make sure everything's fine, then it's gonna be fine. It's no problem. Bonnie Blue's not a fucking idiot. In fact, she's actually quite the genius. She's very, very good at what she does. Yeah, and then a month before that as well, she's got like a fake baby bump here as well for more rage bait, I guess.
Quick video to say, click on my profile and watch the video before because TikTok has shadow banned it because it involves.
What is this? This is her BTS account? Has she been uploading here often? Yeah, she actually has been uploading here a fair bit. And it's not as though they get a negligible amount of views as well. This one here has 90,000 views, which is basically nothing for a Bonnie Blue video. Here's the one that got shadow banned that she was just talking about. I'm very curious about this 90,000 view one though.
So, basically I'm on a brunch trip. Chicken sandwich with bacon. I haven't tried this yet. Oh, I don't want to get it in my face mask.
Okay, I don't care about the eating the bacon or the whatever the fuck, but this is a very interesting account, this, because you can see in the comments, it's like, it's not haters. It's like, these are real diehard fans of hers, which absolutely, there are going to be a lot of fans of Bonnie Blue, for sure. That's always something that you need to remember when it comes to, like, people online whose job it is to be hated or rage baitable. People like Ashley Trevino or Nova Online or anyone along those lines. It's like, there is a huge portion of their audience that isn't watching to hate on them or get angry. There is a significant portion of people who are genuine fans of these creators. And that's very important to understand, by the way, like super important.
Probably won't get many views. So many views it's got already.
Oh, has it done well?
Someone's got 10k already.
Oh. I'm a YouTuber. Uploaded a YouTube video. YouTube's very hit and miss, especially my Bonnie Blue YouTube, because basically I use it for rage bait. But I will be setting up a wholesome BTS YouTube, I think, starting off with the birth of the baby. One more thing, I saw someone picking up on the fact I say the baby rather than my baby. That's because often when I'm talking about my baby, I refer to it by its name and the gender. So when I'm saying the baby, it's because like in my head I'm focusing so hard on not slipping up on the gender and the name. So it's easier for me to just try and think of the baby rather than saying the gender and the name.
That's pretty interesting, actually. That is genuinely actually quite interesting, and I believe her. I actually do believe her. Although it's very interesting, because she's so clever, this girl, and I would not put it past her at all to tell a lot of like half-truths in her behind-the-scenes TikTok so that the lies that she tells are that much more believable, if that makes sense. Here's the rage baity video that she was just talking about. Bonnie Blue and Aya Napa whilst pregnant. What is this fucking thumbnail, dude? And then you've got Bonnie Blue pregnant at spring break from a month before that as well. Couldn't wait to get myself to Aya Napa to be surrounded by barely legal boys in blue ski masks, 2 nights out in a boat party. Your missus won't even do the dishes when she's pregnant, but I'll do whatever it takes to please you. Let's have a look at this video. Oh, she's drinking. That must have caused a lot of bother.
Oh, and if you didn't know, I'm pregnant. Aya. Hi.
You are Bonnie Blue.
Yes.
I want to be on a picture too.
Of course you can. Hi. Yes, of course you can.
Where are you headed to after?
Yes, of course you can.
Dad!
Where's your dad? Dad, do you want a father and son photo?
Oh no!
Photo. I've got dad, granddad, and baby.
Oh, dad and lad.
What has she done to make her belly like that? Has she just eaten a lot of food, or has she genuinely gained? I don't know. Is she just like super bloated at the minute? Is she wearing something underneath it? I'm actually dead curious, because I'm pretty sure this early into pregnancy it doesn't show that much. But it is just rage bait. See, this is so intentional. Like, why else would you show a long, drawn-out shot of you drinking vodka if not to make people really fucking angry? And she's so clever as well, because she hasn't acknowledged that she's not done a really obvious, oh, I'm pregnant, look at me, and look at pregnant old me drinking vodka. That's really bad, you know, but I'm doing it anyway. She's just doing it without mentioning that she's doing it, because that makes it so much more believable that she's genuinely just so obtuse that she doesn't know that drinking is bad for the baby. When in reality, like, she knows exactly what she's doing here. Exactly what she's doing. And it's not vodka, by the way. She's drinking water. She's definitely swapped that out for water. 100%. Yeah, you can even see you can even see like the bottle's already open, and then there's Look at how many cuts there are as well. She swapped it. It doesn't take a genius to figure it out. It's very obvious that she swapped it out. Again, I just don't think that she's that fucking horrible of a person to where she would do this genuinely on camera. Especially on camera, rather. Like, she knows what she's doing. She knows the internet better than most people. And look at it, what a treat in the comments. If you are pregnant, you should not drink vodka. There are a lot of things she would have done different if she cared about her baby. Her drinking is a minor issue in comparison. Mate, the drinking is the worst possible thing. What else is she doing that's worse? Everything before pregnancy and everything the child will have to go through after pregnancy. Oh, that's what you mean. Everyone report her video as child abuse. Man, she has you all on strings, dude. She has you all on strings. And honestly, me as well. I mean, look at me making a video on it. Sex while pregnant is fine, but what's not fine is multiple different men she doesn't even know the name of. She's not doing that. She is probably more responsible with the amount of sex that she has and the type of sex that she has than most people, just normal people. Like, she definitely gets checked for, you know, STIs and STDs more often than the average person. She's definitely sleeping with people who get checked way more often than the average person as well. She knows the names of everyone that she's sleeping with. She's in good contact with them. She's doing this professionally. She is a professional. I don't think there is one actual genuine stranger that she has slept with in this whole escapade for rage bait in her, like, entire career in the past 2 years or whatever. Maybe if she was an escort before all this and stuff, then sure. But she is not sleeping with barely legal teens. She is sleeping with co-workers or colleagues. I've already talked about this at length in my other videos about her, but we'll get to that when we get to it. I want to look at more of the interview first.
People might hear you say that and think, oh, hang on, but you're pregnant. Does this stuff not stop for anything? You're pregnant.
I mean, a lot of people, I've been posting clips recently of me having intercourse whilst pregnant, and they're like, oh my God, you can't do that.
But
And
you can.
Yeah, I think to most people, shocks, whether women want to say you can or can't have it, you can. Like, it is okay and it's healthy. And to me, having sex with one person for 6 hours or a large group of men for 6 hours is the same thing to me. It's just different shapes and sizes.
It's clear from the documentary on Channel 4 that lots of people watched, and from interviews I've seen you do with other people as well.
Yeah, and for the record, I'm not one to judge anyone for who or the amount of people they choose to sleep with, especially someone like Bonnie Blue, who is a literal sex worker. Like, it is kind of her job. The issue I have, obviously, is the way that she is marketing said acts, like the whole barely legal teen shtick that she has going on. As much as I obviously don't believe she is actually getting with any barely legal teens. And the reason why, I've said this before, if she was getting with real, barely legal teens that she has never met before, that were getting in these lines, all it would take is one fake ID. All it would take is one minor with a fake ID to ruin everything. Her life is over. She's going to fucking jail. No money is being made from this anymore. No one will ever speak of her again in any kind of light that isn't, thank fuck that she's not here anymore. The risk is just way too high. She would have caught something. She would have slept with a minor. She would have, if this is all real, she would have slept with at least one minor. I don't give a fuck. 100%, dude. And she's not that evil. Like, she does not have that in her. She is not so fucking twisted that she's gonna put herself in a situation where she's fucking a bunch of strangers who are also 18 years old. Or allegedly 18 years old. She's not gonna do that. And not only that, but I think anyone that genuinely believes that is what's going on here, and these videos of massive lines outside of, like, castles or universities and shit, full of strangers and children taking turns fucking Bonnie Blue, I think anyone who genuinely thinks that's real should probably question, like, the way that they use the internet and the amount of information they take in and how they process it and how they think of it all. Because in my opinion, it's so obviously fake that you might as well be saying that the earth is flat. Maybe not, because it can't be disproven. All right, it would be like saying I have 15 dead bodies just out of frame, and if I shifted my camera a tiny bit to the left, you'd all see them. Technically, you can't disprove it. It could be true, but it's probably not. Probably.
You are a very smart businesswoman. You know what you want from what you're doing, and you know why you're doing it, and you tell everybody that you enjoy it as well. It's not a chore for you any more than anybody's job is a chore.
Yeah, for sure.
There may be days, of course, when it feels like a chore or you get tired or whatever, but no more than that. Not traumatizing to you is how you put it. You're also changing the porn industry, it seems to me, redesigning it in a way, because you want it to be not just public facing, but public involving.
Yeah.
Why did you want the public literally up close and personal in that way?
She is changing the porn industry. I think she's probably changing it for the worst. I don't think I've ever had to speak up for porn stars or sex workers' rights in any way, shape, or form. I think that the whole barely legal thing only reinstates and hyperbolizes the worst aspects of the porn industry, where a lot of genuine barely legal actors are sort of coerced into it, or worst case, a lot of, lower than barely legal teens are put into the porn industry as well. I know it's a lot better now, but there definitely was a time where if there's an 18-year-old porn star in a video or something, the likelihood is, the unfortunate truth is, they've probably been in the industry for a little longer than a year. Just a shame, because Bonnie Blue is like probably the most popular sex worker on the fucking planet right now. I know it's a very different branch of sex work to like traditional sex work, I guess. Like there's a very clear distinction to be made between like escorting and prostitution as opposed to porn stars. But Bonnie Blue used to be an escort as well, interestingly. So she's experienced sort of both sides of that coin. I think it would genuinely be, like, she has such a great opportunity, as the biggest star on the fucking planet, she really does have a great opportunity to make a change for good in the industry. And the fact that she hasn't isn't like, I don't know, I just, it's a real shame to me. The fact that she's using this power in the worst way possible. She's using this power to make people in the industry, to make sex workers who are already fucking struggling, already being oppressed massively, already who are in fear of the police all the fucking time, already don't have the rights that they should have. She is actively making their lives harder and adding to the stigma that they already have been facing for centuries now. Even in Belgium, where sex workers have been granted full legal rights, the fight still continues. And that is the best country to be for a sex worker. So yeah, it's a real shame in my opinion. A real shame as someone who does care about this topic genuinely. Whenever I talk about sex work on this channel, it splits the audience as well, so I'm not looking forward to the comments on this one, to be honest.
Because when I used to watch content online, it's so unrealistic. It's made to look like it's genuine and authentic, but how many times do you call your plumber and then the next minute you bent over your kitchen counter? Like, it just doesn't happen, and there's
I thought you were asking me for real. Never.
I mean,
just so you know, never. No.
But there's always been like men in the adult industry that are filmed with people dressed as schoolgirls, or they're implying they're super sweet and innocent, and the next minute they're having sex. And that's just not the reality of it. Nor do people have these perfect perky boobs and flat tummies, and it's not necessarily relatable, and my content is meant to...
So this is bollocks, by the way. Like, the problem is true, that's a real problem, but she doesn't actually give a fuck about that problem. Like, Bonnie Blue is not on this escapade to try and make porn more realistic and less of a, like, fantasy for people, or a way to destigmatize the insane standards that are created through pornography, or lower people's or change people's expectations of sex, or how hiring a fucking plumber will go. Like, what is realistic about a line of 100 strangers coming in to fuck you one by one? There's nothing real. In fact, it's so unrealistic that you had to lie about it. It's not actually gonna happen ever. It's probably never happened in human fucking history and never will. Like, she's just spouting a bunch of complete bullshit here, and the fact that she's using a real genuine issue with the industry, the whole fantasization of schoolgirls, is grim to me. Mate, since I've started talking about sex work online, very limited by the way, nowhere near as much as a bunch of other YouTubers, some of whom I agree with and some of whom I vehemently disagree with, but that's a video for another day. I plan to make, whatever, I'll get to that, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But I've had a lot of like, OnlyFans creators and stuff reach out to me. I've become like quite good friends with one or two of them as well, and you'd be so, honestly, I'd say you'd be surprised, but you probably wouldn't be if you're part of this audience and like you watch these videos, and you're as chronically online as I am, and you know just how fucking disgusting porn addicts can be. But the most popular like request that a lot of these OnlyFans creators will get, like through the direct messaging thing, is, oh, can you dress up as a schoolgirl? And worst case, it'll be like, can I have old pictures of you whilst you were in school type thing. Like, this is not just some sort of fantasy that isn't actually acted out or acted upon, I guess, by people. No, this is a real fucking, I guess fantasy is for lack of a better term, but if they have the opportunity to, then it's not an unfounded assumption to say that they probably would.
So there's no better way of doing that than me just inviting the public.
Whether as a mother-to-be or prior to being an expectant mother, do you accept that, you draw a very firm line at the age of 18? I know people have criticised you heavily for the barely legal stuff and everything, but you draw a very firm legal line there. But do you accept that underage kids, say between 13 and 18, 15, 16-year-olds, are watching your content?
Yeah, they probably are.
Yeah, and for the record, if this was real, they would also be getting in there with fake IDs as well and fake documentation. There would have been at least one. There would have been. There would have been. And there will be if this is true, which it isn't. Random members of the public are not coming in to fuck Bonnie Blue. Not one random member of the public has come out with their story about Bonnie Blue. And if there was one that did at one point, it was the most obvious fucking mole PR stunt in the planet. There has not been one documented case of a actual stranger who fucked Bonnie Blue coming out and talking about it, because it's never fucking happened. And I know that it's not like it's quite a shameful thing to do. It's not the type of thing that most people would be screaming at the rooftops, I fucked Bonnie Blue with a ski mask on as a complete stranger because I'm a massive loser. I know that wouldn't be happening for everyone, but there would have been at least one person shameless enough to do it.
Like, it's not just me they're searching for other adult content creators. And that's where it comes down to the platforms to have stricter rules, and I think they have recently brought in a lot more rules about underage people watching content. So that's not down to me. That's down to your parents. That's down to watching what your kids are getting up to. Like, I cannot be responsible for what a 13-year-old is doing.
Well, you mentioned...
Those new rules, I have so mixed opinions on them, by the way. I think I lean more towards those new rules being bad. Like, recently I tried to watch the South Park musical, like the movie from like a couple decades back, on my phone, and I couldn't do it. My phone literally would not let me do it unless I gave them my credit card information. And this wasn't even like a thing that a VPN could pass by. It was literally an iPhone issue. Like, my iPhone would not let me watch anything adult unless I gave it my credit card information to prove that I was in fact an adult. Now, if you are a kid who cannot prove their age and thus cannot access adult services or websites, which historically has never stopped children from trying to do that exact thing, all it's going to do is funnel you into very dangerous websites that haven't been caught yet by the blocker or by the law, and then that's how you get to really, really fucking shady groups of and very illegal content as well. It's a lot more dangerous. Like, if you're going to consume pornography, unfortunately, websites like OnlyFans or Pornhub are probably the most ethical ways to do so. And by blocking the most ethical ways to consume pornography, all you do is lead people down the funnels of very unethical ways to consume pornography. I think ideally, by the way, people wouldn't consume pornography. I want to make sure I'm on that boat. I think ideally no one would consume pornography. I think on a net it is probably bad. Just to be clear, I don't think that there is any evidence to suggest that like a moderate amount of porn in someone's life is inherently bad. There's not a lot of information or research on that kind of phenomenon that sways either which way, whether it be good or bad. There's a lot of pseudoscience about very minimal usage of porn literally changing and shifting your brain, but that's all bollocks for Instagram. It's not actually real. There is very strong evidence to suggest that an excessive usage of pornography is incredibly fucking harmful, and it's very strongly corresponded with sort of violence in the domestic household, for example, sort of abusive environments, very unhappy sex lives, an even worse case scenario like sexual, domestic, and violent abuse too. However, even in those cases, it's a little difficult to prove causation versus correlation. Like, is it the pornography that is causing these relationships to suffer, or are the suffering relationships causing people to consume more pornography? And maybe, to be honest, it's probably both. Like, it's probably a mixture of both. It's like this fucking really vicious cycle of the porn makes it worse, and it becoming worse means more porn, and then that makes it worse, and it's fucking grim. It's bad. So yeah, overall, I would say porn bad. I would also say overall porn inevitable. This goes for both genders, by the way, although obviously excessive use of pornography is more likely to be men, I think. But I think women take up a third of the pornography viewer base. It's not something I've ever been interested in, and I think I'm better off for it, to be honest. But yeah, honestly, it's a topic I could go on for hours more than I am right now, but this is a video about Bonnie Blue, not pornography. So I'll stop there and just stay tuned, because it's definitely something I'll talk about more in the future.
To rules. The government has just had a consultation and finished the consultation this week on whether to ban social media for under 16s. Would you like our country to go that far, the same way Australia did?
No.
Why not?
I just don't think so. Like, social media can be damaging for sure, but so could drinking on the park with your friends. Do you know what I mean? Like, at 16, they're already doing stuff. They're already up to mischief. The more you restrict them, the more they're going to go and do something else anyway. So I just think it's more being more careful what they're up to, or restricting certain things they can search for. Like, maybe if they're under the age of 16, they can't be searching Bonnie Blue, but they can still go on social media. Like,
but can they? I think they can at the moment, can't they?
They can, but I mean, like, instead of just banning social media, which is ridiculous.
It's tough because Australia Although they're the only country to have banned under 16s from social media, I don't think it's worked very well. Like, those children, like I said before, are finding other ways to access social media. Whether it be, like, different apps or VPNs or, I don't know, whatever fucking tactics they have over there, they're using. It's also been nowhere near long enough to actually bear fruitful or productive analysis on how it's affecting the youth. From what I understand, they are doing some actual longitudinal perspective randomized control trial studies on, like, 4,000 Australian children over the course of decades to see how this affects them. But even then, it's a little tough because I feel as though you can't guarantee those children aren't using social media. Like, unless you're in their life fucking constantly, it's just, it's kind of impossible. It's just such a hard law to actually put into place. And because we don't know the effects of it yet, whether that be positive or negative, I wouldn't recommend, I don't think it's a good idea for the UK to follow suit, or any country for that matter, really.
And often the news can be more fake than what social media is.
So you think it's a sledgehammer to crack a nut to do the overall ban from?
Yeah, I think you should
16?
it's lazy, I think, just banning it at 16.
So what I noticed in the Channel 4 documentary, which I rewatched ahead of speaking to you today, I noticed that you pivoted towards a younger and younger audience, if that's the word for it, and I mean people also engage with you as well, have sex with you as well. Is this in your mind? Are you something of a sex educator? Is that how you see yourself?
Yes and no. Obviously, I can play into that. But it's part of that is rage bait, but part of it, like, when some of these men come and sleep with me, and I don't just mean the 18-year-olds, I mean the ones that are in their 40s, like, you can be a virgin.
Whatever she's about to say is bullshit. She does not see herself as a sex educator. That's horrible. That's fucking, again, this is like adding to the stigma, the horrible cliche that porn is like a good way to learn how to have sex. It's like, you just said it's unrealistic. Your porn videos are horrifically unrealistic. A lot of them are super fucking violent as well. It's like, what are you saying? Oh, if you're a man, slap your fucking cock around your woman's face without asking them first. Yeah, they'll love it, trust me. Just get really rough without asking for consent. Oh my god, it gets them going. Fucking horrible thing to say, genuinely horrible.
Have a lot of sex, but still be so bad in the bedroom. Like, I've had one-night stands, I've dated people in the past, and they think they're amazing, but they are terrible and they need to be educated. So, like, when I have sex with the public, often I'm saying, oh, this is what I like, or I'm asking them what they enjoy, and they become a lot more confident and comfortable with me, because I'm not expecting them to throw me around the room and have me upside down and making my eyes water and it looks like my makeup's dripping. Like,
this is so funny. The reason why what she's about to say is bullshit and what she's saying now is bullshit is because she's literally making it up. Like, she has pre-rehearsed, pre-scripted answers for a completely fictionalized scenario where she is genuinely having sex with the public, which, as I've established, I don't think is happening at all. Like, what she's saying right now about like easing members of the public into sex with her is complete and utter bollocks. She's not fucking members of the public. No way. Well, I mean, I guess if a licensed porn star on the other end of the bed is a member of the public technically. But you know what I mean? She's not fucking random 18-year-olds off the street in unis. She's making it up.
Sometimes guys last 10 seconds. Sometimes I can't even make them finish or they can't get hard. So I explain to them that's fine. That's normal. A lot of people in porn inject, take tablets. It's so fake. It's so stop-start. But they don't know that because they don't see that. So when I work with the public, it's nice to be able to educate them on the reality of what happens in a professional shoot.
And again, it's very clever because she's using a lot of insecurities that men genuinely do have about finishing too quickly or not finishing at all or not being able to get it up as a means of convincing them that she is actually worth listening to, if that makes sense. Because she is right there. This is the thing. It's like, it's impossible to say that she is not right. Like, all of those things are things that men should not be ashamed of. They're things that women shouldn't be shaming men for either. And there is a lot of it that happens online, and I do think it is very unhelpful. However, it's the intention behind these truths that bothers me a bit, because she's not saying these things because she genuinely cares. There is not an ounce of Bonnie Blue that genuinely gives a fuck about educating her audience. She is saying these things to convince men going through these insecurities to, I guess, side with her, if that makes sense. At least in my opinion, that's what's happening here.
Let's say as a fact that younger kids are watching your content.
Yeah.
Not all of your content. I'm going to say something, but it doesn't apply to all of your content. But to the most extreme edges of your content that's available online, I'm only speaking for myself. When I was 14, 15, and you're starting to, well, you were well ahead of me there, but because 13 was when you were
Yes.
But you're thinking about your sexual self and how it's developing and all of that. Your content would have made me frightened of sex when I was a child.
Yeah, I think it depends because to me it's very relatable. And I don't mean because I'm surrounded with loads of men, but I explain some guys don't get hard. Sometimes you might not be naturally wet and that's okay. Whereas I think if you just to watch content online, you're made to think your body's meant to look a certain way. You're meant to act a certain way as well. And like...
Yeah, this is absolutely true as well. As much as men definitely feel insecure about parts of their sexual escapades, it's absolutely the exact same thing for women too. Like the standards that porn sets on the bodies of women, it's fucking insane. It's unhinged, and there are a lot of men that will shame women relentlessly for not living up to those standards as well. That is something that equally should not be happening and is incredibly unhelpful. Same thing goes with, I don't know, the tightness of a vagina. Like there's a lot of vaginas that just, they don't open up enough. What's the condition called? It's fairly common, but I think it's like no, I'm not going to say it actually. Vaginismus, that's it. Underreported due to stigma. Okay, fair enough. But somewhere in between 5 and 17%. Yeah, sex can be awkward, man. It requires a lot of communication and understanding a lot of the time. And pornography makes that conversation, that act, so much harder to do productively and healthily and happily. It's such a shame because it should be fun. Like that's kind of the whole point, is that it's fun, but it can be so fucking depressing and genuinely dangerous for a lot of people, especially women, when it comes to the whole danger aspect, especially for women. Maybe and I do think that porn does have a part to play in that. For sure. As much as I understand that there is some evidence to suggest that, like, the rise of pornography has reduced sexual assault rates as well, again, correlation, causation, extremely fucking difficult, because as time goes on and things just get safer generally, porn has also increased in popularity massively. To say that porn caused sex to be safer is a huge simplification and an assumption. There is, again though, strong evidence to suggest that escorting, or countries and areas where prostitution is not allowed, do have or do directly cause higher rates of sexual assault. Like in areas where prostitution is more normalized, sexual assault does decrease, and that is a known fact at this point. With pornography, of course, the research is a lot more iffy, just way harder to pin down and actualize in a productive manner. And just to be clear, as much as I think it's a good thing sexual assault rates are going down when prostitution is available, it is still disturbing that it almost confirms that a lot of men are using prostitutes as some sort of replacement for at least I think that's kind of what it implies, right? But again, that's a conversation that you guys can let me know in the comments if you disagree with or not. But to me, that's kind of what it tells me, which obviously, you know, consensual paid sex is a lot more ethical than actual, but still, it's a problem that needs to be solved and spoken about. I think normalizing sex work is a good step in the right direction, but as always, it's never the end. By the way, I don't mean normalizing sex work as in like glamorizing it and making it like a genuine career path, like, oh yeah, be a that's not what I mean. I mean legalizing, that's what I meant, or decriminalizing more exactly.
10 seconds, the guy's giggling, the guy's nervous, and even I'm like...
Yeah, but you're gorgeous, and you always look gorgeous, and loads of other content providers on OnlyFans, and
yeah.
you're on Fansly now. They do attempt anyway to look gorgeous, and you know so there is a look, isn't there, that people want to attach
I might
to this
fall
behavior.
into a certain look, but the people I work with don't. And a lot of the time, if you just watch a normal content creator's content, both of them probably fall into that. I work with people that condoms would need vacuum sucking onto them because their penis is small. And that's fine, but you don't see that in porn. You just see these massive penises and they look like they know what they're doing. And reality is that's not the case. So like, okay, maybe to some people my content might look intimidating, but it also shows to the majority of men, don't think you need to look like that. Don't think you need to last like that.
That's not what it shows. That is no one's takeaway from watching a Bonnie Blue video. She's chatting shit. It's such a shame because I am such a staunch supporter for the decriminalization of sex work, and she is making the fight so much fucking harder. Especially, by the way, if there are genuine potential who are using sex work as some sort of escape or alternative, then there are going to be a lot of dangerous men using the sex workers as well. So if you decriminalize it, then those sex workers actually have the opportunity to go to a boss who isn't a fucking pimp, or use a safety button to call security, or go to the fucking police without fear of being deported. But unfortunately, those rights are only going to become harder to obtain with people like Bonnie Blue trudging about.
But if your child started to watch your type of content at the age of 13, 14,
yeah,
what would you say to them?
I'd explain to them, like, all sex is different. Like, nothing, just because one person looks a certain way or just because a certain person enjoys a certain thing doesn't mean you have to. It's completely normal if you don't actually want to ever go near a penis and you just want to go near a vagina. That's fine. Like, The biggest thing is just communication. And this is where I say I'm not responsible, because it's down to the parents themselves to educate their children or the people around them of what's normal or what's okay or what's acceptable.
You just said that you're trying to educate people, and now you're saying it's not your responsibility and the parents need to fucking do it, and that you don't actually care about it. So this is what I mean. Everything she says is complete bullshit. She's either, maybe she doesn't even have a pre-rehearsed script and she genuinely is just blagging, making it up on the spot at this point.
In a different way than I broadcast. So for years I worked at the BBC, and now I'm at LBC, and we're covered by something called Ofcom, which I'm sure you've heard of. We're covered by Ofcom, and there are certain things, because I have a platform called a programme and I can amplify things on that programme, I have to be responsible about what I amplify and how I amplify it. Now, I know the online world is different. It's the Wild West in comparison with the kind of broadcasting I do. But do you ever feel like that for you as an individual, you seem to answer a lot of questions, not particularly these ones today, but in other interviews I've seen, you tend to answer a lot of questions by saying, not my problem. I mean, if I did that every day on the radio, I'd be sacked, because there's all kinds of times I want to say all kinds of things on the radio and I can't. And you can, because it's online. I know there are some limits around the law, obviously, but do you ever feel that you are turning a blind eye to responsibility?
The reason I say not my problem is my focus in life is to a certain degree to be selfish. I want to be happy. I want freedom. I want flexibility. I want orgasms. I just want fun. So for the other issues, I say it's not my problem because it's not my job to. My job is to have fun.
I don't even think that's true, by the way. I don't think Bonnie Blue gives a fuck about orgasms or fun or, like, having good sex. I don't think she cares about any of that shit. I think she cares about, like, being a huge fuck-off celebrity and getting a lot of attention and making a lot of money. Like, she wants to be the best by any means necessary, in a similar way to, maybe not the best example, but, like, Mr. Beast wants to be the best by any means necessary. It's not about fun or passion or, like, the love of the game or anything. It's just about, like, seeing how far you can take it almost. Like, she's a very clearly very industrious woman, and she does not give a fuck who she pisses off to get to the point that she wants to get to.
Amplifying that, quotes, fun, as you call it, including gangbangs, and I know there's consent in there in your cases, but, you know, we've had this recent dreadful case in Hampshire, I don't know whether you're aware of it, where two girls in separate cases...
Oh, is this where the boys
gang raped the girl?
Yeah, disgusting.
And I know that's a different thing.
Yeah.
To a degree, it's a different thing. But... And again, I can't say for sure whether they'd seen any of your content, so I'm not accusing you of anything here. I'm just saying it's about the responsibility of amplifying that material, because boys are going to see that material and think, wonder whether I could do that. Girls are going to see that material and either fear it happening to them or think, maybe this is how I have to accept sex when I'm a teenager. Does that not worry you at all in terms of responsibility?
In terms of what happened to them girls, it is disgusting and horrifying, and then parents should be, like, beyond ashamed of them kids. And, like,
this is a very interesting question. It's not one that I'm sure I fully agree with the premise of. However, I really do appreciate the difficulty of such a question to someone like Bonnie Blue. The reason why I'm not sure about the premise of it is because I'm not sure, if there is, I definitely haven't read enough on, like, the effects of young boys watching certain genres and then thinking, oh, I could do that sort of thing. I'm not even sure if that is even measurable. It's certainly possible, which is why this is a good question. Also, obviously, no qualms with either of their condemnation of these boys either.
I will make sure my kid would never be in the position of when them boys doing something so disgusting like that. But in terms of them girls, like, they wouldn't have to feel scared because of my content. I say, I want to do this. This is what I enjoy. I never say, all women should do this. All women should come and do gangbangs. Like, I don't. And even though I do it and I have it open to the public, you've never stumbled into a room full of blue ski masks and they're asking you to get on your knees. I put myself in them positions. So I'm referring to me, and I only ever refer to me. I never say, if you are 18, if you want a loyal husband, you should get on your knees and everyone, you know, you should have gangbangs. That is the words that have never come out of my mouth. So where I say it's not my problem, it's because too much responsibility is put onto me. All I'm responsible for is having sex with consensual adults that want to be involved. the rest of it, yes, I could use my platform for other things.
Interesting. She's completely dodged the question. Completely. The question was, is there any fear? Do you feel any amount of responsibility for potentially normalizing this sort of unconsensual gangbang-like behavior to a point where these young boys deem it acceptable or possible to do it to like two innocent young girls? And she's responded with pretty much, oh, everything I do is consensual. It's like, yeah, no one was disputing that. We know that. But do you fear that it normalizes the unconsensual nature of a lot of these crimes? I do think that there is a lot of genuine harm and conversation and discourse that should be had about the glamorization of and the lack of consent in porn videos, whether it be sort of violent or rough sex taking place without any questioning or consent being asked from beforehand, whether it be straight up simulated, whether it be like sort of schoolgirl fantasy bullshit. I think all of the above can, even though there might not be like strong empirical evidence for it, I do think just intuitively there is just something so wrong with it, and I do think that there is a link to be made there, even if it can't be proven scientifically because it's just so hard to do. And for the record, despite it being a pretty hard thing to prove, it has been proven scientifically that an excessive usage of porn can absolutely affect the rates of which someone is likely to commit violent sex crimes, which is especially telling when the information is so hard to gather, by the way. The reason why I don't want to apply that to that situation here is because I don't want to give these boys, like, I don't want to assume that they were porn addicts or anything. Like, even if none of them watched a porn video a day in their lives, which isn't technically impossible, it does not make the crime any less fucking disgusting. And I think sort of adding conspiracy to situations like these and being like, oh, the boys were porn addicts or whatever, and like making conspiracies about, you know, girls being like this horrific thing happening, I think that's really weird behavior. Ultimately, what we know is what we know, and what we know is enough to make it fucking disgusting. We don't need to guess anything.
Blamed for so much stuff which has nothing to do with me.
I'm not blaming you for anything.
Oh no, I know you're not.
I'm just asking you whether you think, you know, when I was a teenager, I can barely remember them now, but I would have had influences, people I wanted to look like, or behaviour I thought, okay, that looks good, or places you wanted to go. You must have had those as well as a teenager, and the reason I allude to that is that your content is that now.
Yeah.
You know, so boys and girls who are examining sex and looking at it and wondering about it and wanting to do it and deciding how they're going to go about it, for some of them, gangbangs, even though you're talking about just you, and you're right to point out that everybody in that room has consented to it, because there's a sign, they sign consent.
It's very
forms,
strict, yeah.
They'll look at that and think it's part of sex, and it's only part of sex in a good way where it's consensual, isn't it? But you can easily see a 15, 16-year-old boy thinking, I've got access to that girl, me and my mates, we could do that. You can see how it can become that, and I'm not blaming you for that. I'm just wondering whether it ever plays on your mind.
No, because I always talk about consent.
No, Bonnie's chatting shit here. The interview is absolutely right, even according to Bonnie's logic. Bonnie Blue said earlier that if you watch pornography and you see all these unrealistic massive dicks lasting forever, always keeping it up and shit, it's very likely that people are going to watch that and think, oh, well, this is just how sex is. This is how it's meant to be. What a shame that I can't do that. I wish I could do that. If I could do that, that'd be great. So why can't the same thing apply to the actual acts going on in the video? Like, if someone looking at a massive dick thinks that massive dicks are normal, then it's also very possible that someone looking at violent choking or slapping a girl about without asking for consent is also normal. It's very possible that they might think violent gangbangs where the girl is fucking crying their makeup off is very normal. I understand that there's definitely a line in between these acts, but the same basic logic applies to each and every one of them. You watch it online, it's pornography, you don't have much experience, you think it might be normal. Bonnie loves to use that argument when it suits her, and she can sort of virtue signal to a lot of the men that watch her, but all of a sudden when it becomes difficult for her to answer a question, she backtracks and says, well, just because it's in porn doesn't mean people actually think it's real. So, no, but you just said that it was, though.
Even if you've watched anything I've done, the word consent comes out my mouth multiple times, and it's like, this is what I enjoy, but you could have sex with one person and not enjoy it, and that's also okay. Like, it's about being confident, and I don't have a massive platform for women. Like, you know, my main thing has been for men. But when I have spoke to women, or when I have done videos purely aimed at women, I'll often say, like, you need to speak up. Like, you need to say what you enjoy. If you don't want it hard, ask for it softer. Like, don't feel ashamed or embarrassed to ask for different positions.
And that case, you know, you talked about those those lads being disgusting.
Yeah.
They are, and their behaviour was appalling, let alone criminal. Do you think that sentence was too lenient? Do you think they should have served
100% they
time?
should have gone to prison. Like, I was actually talking about this. Like, I don't keep up with the news too much, but that popped up on my social media. And it's like, they're 100% going to offend again in the future. They have had, no precaution. They've had no consequence whatsoever. So the fact they think it's okay and a judge is able to sit there and say, yeah, you're going to get away free of this is terrible.
Would you work with groups, whether it's from the government to the police or to schools, would you work with them to talk about consent? I mean, some schools might not let you darken their door, I don't know, but, you're a businesswoman, there's a commercial element to what you're doing. You're not a charity worker helping people with their sex lives. You may incidentally help people with their sex lives in some cases, but would you work with government, for example, on things
I would.
like
I don't know if in the future might be something more suitable, but I think because I'm so actively filming and stuff at the moment, I don't think I would be the right person. But I also don't think your form tutor at school, that's how, when we spoke about sex, is the best person. Like, my form tutor was lovely. She was probably 50, 60 and basically made it so you have sex when you're married, or if you have sex, you have to wear a condom. There was no talk about you could have sex and it feels uncomfortable, so actually you can go to the doctor, something might be wrong, or you need to switch position. It's kind of, it becomes an embarrassing topic.
Or you're right, or you're lucky enough to have parents who just get straight in and talk plainly about it.
It should be more spoken about, but it is hard because it can be awkward and it needs to come from someone. To me, teachers teaching it, it doesn't come across that serious. Or I know I ignored my teachers at school half the time. So when they was trying to teach me or educate me on sex, it was dismissed, and I know it was by most of the other pupils.
Yeah, I mean, she is right there. Again, I don't think she actually gives a fuck, but she is technically correct. It shouldn't be as taboo as it is. People should be able to talk freely about it and have discussion. And not only should people be being taught about it by parents and teachers, they should be being taught correctly about it. And what I mean by that is, like, even at very young ages, the correct terminology, penis, vagina, so-and-so should be used. Not even that I think it. We should never be using synonyms like sort of childish words like, I don't know, fucking wiener or parts or even genitalia or anything. Like, use the actual words. Genitalia is fine, actually. I don't know what I'm talking about there. Just any word that implies the real word is shameful or embarrassing or too much, because all that does is it teaches people that sex and their private parts are shameful, embarrassing, and too much. So if something horrible happens to them, they're less likely to come out and speak about it. Stuff like that is partially why it's such a taboo subject, why it's easily dismissed, and why it's not spoken about nearly enough.
Convinced that that case in Hampshire that we talked about, and your response to it is the same as my response to it. You feel it the way I feel it, or you see it the way I see it. I'm still not convinced that we can afford to be relaxed about boys, any boys, but particularly boys who would go on to do that, having easy access to content like yours. And again, it's not about blaming you directly and personally, but it's there. You're contributing to a kind of soup that these kids are consuming. And you say don't ban social media for under 16, so that's not going to be an option. They'll still be able to consume it. It's having an impact on girls, which we can talk about more in a minute, but the boys element first. Do you never give a second thought to what you're contributing to?
I don't give it a second thought in terms of what I'm contributing to, just because, again, I talk about consent all the time. I talk about some days you can enjoy it. Like, I've had sex with one person before and said, actually, no, I need to stop. It's hurting or it's uncomfortable, and that's completely fine. And I've often replied to girls. I've got like a BTS TikTok account which shows more behind the scenes, and they're like, "Oh, I had sex and it hurt a little bit," and I'll explain, look, that's not normal. Like, it's not okay if it's hurting you. But again, I can't be responsible for.
So are these underage girls contacting you for advice or not?
No, I have a BTS account, and some of the people will be under the age of 18, but it's not all about sex. But again, with the content these boys would be seeing, there's Netflix documentaries about murders, there is sex on TV and films and stuff. It's not just porn. Like, it happens in everyday life, and I think we're stupid and naive to think if we was just to ban ban porn.
Or ban you.
Yeah, it resolved the issue. It's not.
Again, she is right. Again, I think the reasoning behind this is very corporate and soulless, but technically she is correct here in my opinion. It's a very complicated issue. One that I don't think I'm fully qualified to speak on either, to be fair.
And I always forget what it's called, but it's like consensual, not consensual. So off camera they would have said, okay, you're going to chase me and have sex with me, and it looks like I'm not consenting, I'm going to be struggling. That's really popular in porn. I've never filmed that and I really disagree with it. But
Well, so you always make it clear in your films that two or however many people here are consenting to it.
Yes, but there's content that is out there on platforms and it's been highly popular where the girls are pretending like they want to get away or they don't want it or they're not enjoying it. And those content creators never get criticised. They've actually before criticised me whilst having content on their platform which really blurs the line of consent.
I spoke to somebody from the charity Bernardo's this week, children's charity, who carried out research and found that...
Yeah, to be fair though, Bonnie, you are pretending to be an actual child predator. Like, you are pretending to fuck 18-year-olds that you've never met before, who are in sixth form, a lot of them. Sixth form is like before university, just to be clear, for the people in America. Whilst obviously that doesn't make you a pedophile legally or anything, I think predator it's not the wrong word to use here. And just to be clear, I don't think Bonnie Blue is a predator because I don't think it's real, but she's pretending to be. Obviously those simulated videos I think they're bad. I think it's, oh god, I think it's grim. But like, let's not act as though you don't understand why you're being criticized either.
Huge numbers of girls between the ages of about 13 and 15, that was the age group they looked at, were receiving unwanted sexual messaging, suggestions about sex, pushing them, just stuff they had not invited, imagery, you name it. And I know this happens across the piece. It's not particularly about it's not just about your content at all. But if you had a son sending these messages, what would you say to him?
They're not consenting. You can't just be sending sexual messages. Like, if you want to chat to that girl, speak to her nicely, take her on a date, like, you don't need to send a sexual message if it's not been asked for. What
is this fucking, you don't need to? No, it's not that you don't need to do it, it's that you shouldn't fucking do it. Saying you don't need to do it makes it sound as though there's like an option, like, you don't need to, but you can if you want. It's like, no, fuck off, you can't do that shit, it's fucking horrible. Why is she answering the question like this? Like, come on, this is what I mean, she doesn't actually give a fuck. She's putting on like this sort of fake somber, solace attitude and voice on, but it's so fake and performative, dude. I know people might think this is pedantic, but when it comes to consent and like, you know, unsolicited sexual behavior, it's very difficult to actually be pedantic. I feel like it's always that deep.
It goes down to consent, and you have to read the room. If someone doesn't want it, don't give it to them.
And I asked you earlier about whether you'd work with government or schools or whoever involved with the education of young people. There's a lot of judgment about you, isn't there? There's a lot of people who would reject you outright because of what you do in your content. And it may be that all schools or government might be included. I mean,
honestly, I think people are scared I'm going to sleep with everyone in the toilets. Like, I've done nightclub appearances, I've done a whole list of things, and sometimes they're like, is she going to keep her clothes on? Is she, like, they are genuinely scared I'm going to walk into a room and start having sex with the cameramen or the people in the room, and it's not the case. Like, I very much understand where I'm wanted, and I'll invite people to come to me. Do you know what I mean? You never see me running into a room saying, can you all have sex with me? And it kind of goes back to schools or government or anyone. They're so scared to have me because they think I'm going to instantly just break the law and not have any morals or care about consent.
Do you have morals?
Yeah, I mean, morals is obviously a word which is like more opinion-based. Everyone's like, oh, she doesn't have morals.
How would you describe your morals?
It's hard because everyone says I don't have morals, I don't have respect for myself. I have more respect for myself and stronger morals than I do now, than when I used to have to sit in rush hour, work for somebody else, book annual leave, and live the same boring life as everybody else. Like, now, my morals are, I want to travel the world, I want to experience so many things.
But they're ambitions, they're not morals.
No, but in
morals
terms
are about, well, my understanding of morals is they're about how you go through the world in relation to other people, in relation to their well-being as well as your own. So how would you describe
I mean,
that?
I take great care of people. They literally produce liquid gold at the end of their penises at the end of it. So, like, in terms of my morals, I'm doing nothing wrong, and I believe as long as you're happy.
Even if it's someone else's husband?
Yeah, again, communication. I've not dragged him there. I've not dragged him out of your house. You clearly have either something wrong at home or there's something either one of you are missing. So
yeah, I mean, just to be clear, if someone else's husband uses Bonnie Blue as an escort when she was when she was an escort, that isn't Bonnie's fault. Like, she is just doing her job. It's the husband's fault for cheating. I don't believe that an escort has any moral obligation to turn down a client if they are cheating on their partner. Obviously, they can do it. That would be nice, maybe, but like, I don't think they have to ever. In regards to now, though, doing these like videos or gangbang videos or anonymous sleeping with 1,000 people videos, there is no anonymous stranger husband cheating on their wife going to Bonnie Blue unless it's like a very communicated, open relationship between two sex workers or the guy's a porn star and is part of his job. I just don't think it's happening now currently for the reasons I've already spoken about. I also don't think that the claim that she's doing no harm whatsoever, she's only doing good things, is true at all. But again, I think I've already explained pretty succinctly why I believe that.
in terms of the husbands, again, not my problem.
I get that the husband has made a choice here when he does that. I'm not trying to pin it all on you. But if that were me,
Yeah.
whether it's in a porn setting, it wouldn't be for me, but let's even if it's in a porn setting or not, if a married person came to me and suggested we have sex or have a relationship, even though I'm not the married one,
Yeah.
I would still say no on the basis that that person has a family, and I don't want to be a single brick in the wall that's going to harm that family.
Yeah.
That, to me, just an example of what a moral choice would be. That just happens to be what I would do. But you see it as, you almost see yourself as neutral in everything you do. But none of us is neutral in everything we do.
But I see it, say if that husband came to you and you said no, he's going to go to someone else and he's going to come to me. Like, if it meant I said no, it meant he went back, continued loving his wife, looking after his family and had a very loving relationship at home. It's not what happens. If they're already looking elsewhere, they're going to continue looking elsewhere.
She is right. She is right. The husband's not going to have this fucking permanent, oh my god, Bonnie Blue said no to me. Maybe I should appreciate what I have and all this stupid shit. You know, I just watched Shrek 4, the fourth one. It's decent. It's not bad. It's like not the worst one. It's better than the third one, I'll give it that. And Shrek sort of, he gives up his life with his wife and his kids, and then he realizes how much he fucked up because there's the chance that he'll never get it back, and he's like, oh, I didn't know what I had until it was gone. That's not gonna happen with these guys. They're not as, Shrek's a good man. He learned his lesson. That's not gonna happen with these blokes when Bonnie Blue says no.
And I see it as, when they come and have sex with me, some of the times I don't even get their name. I don't even see what they look like. They're in the back of me and I've not even had a chance to turn around when we're doing, like, you know, the consent forms are done downstairs. They come in and they've got the blue ski mask on. We're not going on drinks. We're not flirting at work. We're not rubbing each other's legs. Like, it's not emotional. And if I was ever with someone and they was to cheat with me, one, I wouldn't stand by it. But two, if they was, I'd prefer it to be meaningless sex sometimes as opposed to a loving affair.
Why is that?
Because of the connection, of the build-up. Whereas when some of these people have sex with me, I meet them once.
See, this here is just word vomit again, because it's not, like, she's not laying down and random people are coming in and fucking her from behind. It's not happening.
We're not texting. We're not going backwards and forwards.
Can I ask you about the blue masks? Because in case people haven't seen that, there's like the people who come to see you when you're being filmed, or perhaps you would tell me even when you're not being filmed, perhaps. But they can, if they wish, wear a blue ski mask to hide their face. Now, again, when I was watching your documentary, when I saw those images, that to me looked like, even more like, a terrifying gang rape. But it just did, because it's designed to, isn't it?
It's not designed for that. It's purely designed. A lot of these people have wives. They've got jobs. They've got certain things where they do not want to be showing their face.
But can't you just blur their face?
Have you seen how many men I sleep with? I don't think I have enough money to pay a videographer to blur every single face in my videos.
She does. She has more than enough money. She has more than enough time. It's not difficult to blur people's faces at all. She could absolutely do it, but it's so much more cinematic and interesting and shocking to have the blue ski masks over their faces. That's the only reason it's there. It's to elicit that fearful reaction from people, because you're a lot more likely to see someone in a ski mask doing horrible things to you than someone with a blurred face. That's the reason for it. It's fucking grim. Like, that is the reason for it, and she's not being honest here. That's absolutely what's going on.
Then all of a sudden, like, some of my content, I'm at the bottom and I've got 20, 30 men over me. The whole thing's just going to be blurred. So having a blue ski mask on, is so much easier, not only for my content, it puts them at ease and they know their face is covered. I filmed content before and they said, actually, I did show my face, but can you blur it? And I will, but they're so nervous until I've proven I've blurred it.
How often do you do the gangbang thing? Because I watched the documentary and just thought these were individual stunts, but you do them fairly routinely, do you?
Probably every 6 to 8 weeks. Some aren't as crazy. Some are like 20, some are like 5 or 6. Others are into the hundreds.
And since your documentary and since the whole push for barely legal 18, you're looking for virgins who are just about who are 18, has the interest from much younger people increased on your traffic?
When I mainly do these events open to the public, it's more people probably aged late 20s to early 50s. It's not loads of 18s queuing up. When I do things like freshers, slightly different. But the reason the 18-year-old content for me is so good is because a lot of my subscribers are nervous. They wouldn't last long. They don't know what they're doing. And they would kind of act the same in the bedroom as what an 18-year-old. So it's not necessarily the age, it's their lack of experience, which becomes so relatable. And
you have more, you're continuing throughout your pregnancy or so far in your pregnancy to do your work. And did I hear right that you have a stunt planned for June?
Here we go. Here's the infamous fucking clip here about the baby shower, golden shower stunt.
Yes, I have a baby shower on Saturday. Next Saturday. And I'm inviting the public to turn my baby shower into a golden shower.
You see, now I'm uncomfortable. I haven't been uncomfortable at all in our conversation, and you're delightful to meet. Now I'm uncomfortable. This is your baby. This is your child.
Yeah. Again, my body, this is what I'm choosing.
Another body as well.
Yeah, but when you have sex with them, again, it goes back to...
No, that's not fair. It's not fair to say that it's another body, though. If you have sex with someone who's pregnant, you are not also having sex with the baby. That is complete bullshit. You can say that someone degrading themselves in the way that Bunny Blue is to a lot of people is very harmful to the baby in the long run, and they'll be fucking bullied or whatever the fuck people say about this sort of thing. That's whatever. That's its own thing. But to say that they're directly harming the body of the baby is fucking ridiculous, actually. Fuck, I can't believe the first thing I said in this segment was almost in defense of Bunny Blue. But again, just to be clear, it's not real. She is not gonna open up a golden shower for members of the public to spunk on her face. Just never in a million years would that happen. Anyone who thinks it's real is, I think you're silly. I think you're very silly.
Do throughout their pregnancy, or a group of different people with different sized penises, it's the same thing. Like, if you couldn't have sex during pregnancy, I would not have sex. But you can have sex, so I will have sex.
I'm not worried about you having sex in pregnancy. I just think turning a baby shower, or do you regard it as a fake baby shower?
Yeah, it's like a fake baby shower. I won't be inviting my family.
No, but your baby's with you.
Of course, but the baby's with me for the whole 9-10 months, so... The
baby's with you, what are you talking about, dude? There are ways to criticize this that aren't dumb. Obviously, it's not a real fucking baby shower. It's movie magic. It's a marketing. It's PR. Yeah, this is what I meant, by the way. She just wants to go as far as she possibly can. She wants to exploit everything she can. Fuck, I'm pregnant. Let me make the most of this whilst I am pregnant and make the most money, get the most attention that I possibly can. Oh, I'm in Bali right now. Let me do the most exploitative and controversial thing that I possibly can here. I mean, off the bat, the whole schoolboy thing, the whole fucking barely legal thing, she started with the most controversial thing she possibly could off of the bat, which was like pedophilia, basically. Obviously not legally, but very much in tune with that kind of vibe. Like, that's the vibe she's going for, which is fucking grim to say out loud, but it's so true. It's almost as though people got bored. It's like, she's, all right, enough of that. I've milked that cow dry. Now let's move on to getting arrested in Bali. Okay, cool, done. Now let's move on to the pregnancy fetish. Let me attract a whole new group of people with this whole new weird fetish. Once I've shut those people in the bag, I can move on to another one.
So I'm going to make the most of it.
Do you worry, and I didn't expect to go here in this interview, but do you worry that your baby might be taken off you?
No. there's one thing which is social media and there's one thing which is reality. And I think, well, I've seen the state of some families, especially in the UK, and they've got kids and continue to have kids and get funded by the government to keep.
The baby will not be taken off her. The baby will likely, definitely hopefully, ideally, be raised in a loving home with two parents who are making a lot of money. They'll put her through proper, I don't know why I assumed it's a girl. They'll put them through proper school. I think they'll probably be quite good parents. I definitely hope that they're good parents. I don't think they're psychopath. By the way, I definitely do think that she is in contact with the husband, or not husband, with the father. I think she knows the father of this kid. They're gonna have a great co-parenting situation where they probably gonna, I don't know. I just think it's gonna be quite traditional, weirdly enough, and very much not publicized, hopefully, as well. I don't think it will, though. I don't think it will be.
Pushing more out, so I don't worry at all that I'll have my child taken off me.
Even though you're openly there, I know you're saying you're not using your child, but I don't. I would argue that you are using your child, because again, it's that neutrality thing that you use in conversations. I don't know whether it's planned or whether it's just how you interpret things, but it isn't neutral to have a baby in the kind of setting you're just describing. I think not neutral to invite lots of men in to be filmed to make money while your baby is growing inside you. There seems to me that that's not neutral.
For sure.
I think that's fine. There is definitely something intuitively fucking weird and grim and uncomfortable about this scenario, for sure.
Most things I do, you'd probably be disgusted in, or you'd be like...
It's not disgust, honestly, it's not. It's concern, not disgust.
Yeah. But again, if people was actually there, it's not as intimidating. These men are actually really sweet. They're nice people. But you only see the idea that I've had sex with all these men, and it's...
When you wouldn't know that if they were strangers. Again, this is what I mean, by the way. If she was interacting with genuine strangers, people who are so fucking desperate that they're going to attend the Bonnie Blue 1000 Men meetup, there's no way they would all be really sweet and really nice. Bonnie Blue would have been fucking... hurt. She would have been hurt. In fact, fuck it, she'd probably be dead. I think she would be very, like, she is putting herself, if this is real, if this was real ever, she would be putting herself in such physical fucking danger, it's not even funny. The fact that Bonnie Blue is alive and has not been assaulted meaningfully once proves that this is all complete bullshit. The reason she can say so confidently that they're really sweet and nice is because they're probably people in the industry that she knows of or just knows.
Nice environment, and that's not the reality, and it's not, there's more to show behind the scenes.
For the record, by the way, part of the reason they probably use the ski mask is because a lot of the people in these videos are probably repeat actors, and they don't want you to see the same faces over and over again because it would probably give the gig up.
You talked there about some people have a fetish for pregnant women.
Yeah.
Some people have fetishes for babies as well, don't they? Or pretend to be a baby and want to film themselves with babies as a baby. You will keep your child entirely separate from that.
Yes.
When he or she is born.
Yeah. Like, to me, these people that dress up as adults, like, I've been in porn shoots and they've had actual baby rooms and they have adult diapers and people make sex tapes in there and they pretend to be a baby. To me, even though that's above board, I don't like it. I don't agree with it. But I understand to other people they do that. And there's a certain content creator that you could probably go and watch for that. But that's not going to be me.
But until your baby's born, he or she has to come along for the ride.
Yeah, it's... Again, if the sex was harmful, I wouldn't do it, but it's not harmful. And it would just be down to people's opinion, whether they agree. And a lot of people won't agree with it, and it's going to have a shock factor to it, and people are going to be... angered, and that's part of it.
And don't answer this question if you don't want to. It's entirely up to you. It's not the kind of question I would normally ask any woman, but because of the kind of conversation we're having, I feel I can, but you can tell me off if I can. Do you know the father of your baby?
It's one of many. I'll leave it as that.
Now you're doing businesswoman stuff.
It's part of my life with the baby or with my personal life, and it's always been the case. I only share so much. And it will always stay like that.
Okay, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Interesting stuff. I think she does know the father, and I think that's a good thing. I honestly don't think I have too much to say after this video. I feel like I've made all my thoughts pretty clear during the actual video itself. So I guess, as always, hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to like and subscribe. If you disagree or agree with everything that I said, or anything that I said, rather, then definitely feel free to let me know in the comments why or why not. As always, but here especially, because it's definitely an interesting and incredibly nuanced and complicated discussion. But with all that aside, hopefully you all enjoyed, and I'll catch you all on the next one. So, yeah, bye.